Knicks Daily Edition, everybody. I want to welcome you back. The New York Knicks are at a fascinating inflection point. For all of the grit, all of the overachievement and camaraderie that was displayed during Tom Thibodeau's era, the franchise is now in transition. With Thibodeau no longer on the sidelines, there's an opportunity for a new head coach. Possibly a Jason Kidd, possibly Taylor Jenkins, or another offensive-minded tactician. Will be tasked with shaping the next evolution of a New York Knicks team built on the stardom of Jalen Brunson, the utility of OG Anunoby and Josh Hart, and the versatility on offense of Karl-Anthony Towns. What I want to look at today, though, is under a new head coach, is it possible that Karl-Anthony Towns should become the centerpiece of a more modern offensive system? Not only would this shift maximize Towns' unique skill set, but it more than likely would preserve Jalen Brunson's energy and set him up for what we've seen a lot in these playoffs, an end of the game heroics type of person where he can thrive. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at a cat-centered system and see how that might work. We're going to also see if we can analyze the feasibility in the context of our current roster, and then try to look at historical comparisons that I was just thinking of that we may be able to match it up against to see if it's a good idea. Okay? But if we're looking at the modern NBA offense, what if the center is the catalyst in terms of Karl-Anthony Towns? The NBA has changed dramatically over the past decade. I know that. The traditional role of the center has shifted from rim protecting back to the basket like Patrick Ewing, that type of player who anchors and stretch bigs, and playmakers who open the floor and manipulate defenses are now the order of the day. So we have centers like Nikola Jokic, Sabonis, Bam Adebayo. Now they're the engines of the team's half-court offense. They set high screens, they initiate dribble handoff sequences, and they also find cutters with precision passing. Jokic in particular has refined the center position, turning the Denver Nuggets into perennial contenders through his type of style of play. But if Jokic is the sun around which Denver's universe revolves, then Towns could easily be our moon and guide the tides of the New York Knicks' new offensive system. He could be the one serving as the one that pulls the gravity, creates space, and letting Brunson choose his spots. I think it's important that we utilize Cat's unique skill set. Towns has long been recognized as one of the most skilled big men in NBA history. Even I argued that fact until I saw him play up close. His critics have often downplayed his impact due to his playoff shortcomings, his defensive inconsistencies, and that perceived softness. But a deeper dive into Towns and his game shows an offensive unicorn. If we look at his shooting, he has a near 40% shooting percentage from three with about four attempts per game. He won in the 2022 NBA three-point contest, something that no center has ever done. He also has the footwork and the balance to hit shots off pick and pops, transition threes, or trail shots behind the fast breaks. His passing is also outstanding. Though he's not quite Jokic level, he's averaged about three assists per game for his career, with many of those coming from the elbow and the top of the key. He might be a little bit dramatic with it, but he gets the job done. That man can read double teams. He can exploit mismatches. He can execute simple dribble handoffs. That's what we're looking for. Also, his post and face-up game is off the chain. Cat has an excellent touch around the rim. He also can go to a variety of moves on the low block. He's even more effective when he faces up in those situations where his jumper or that quick first step can compromise the slower defenders. In short, he is the modern offensive weapon who has never played in a truly modern system that was tailored to his gifts. And if I'm going on a job interview for a coaching job, that's how I'm trying to sell the team. What if? So in a cat-centric system, how does that help Jalen Brunson? We're going to switch everything up. I think it conserves his energy. Brunson plays a relentless brand of basketball. We know that. He's constantly initiating the offense, creating his own shot, absorbing contact, orchestrating the team. Just this past season, he averaged about 30 to 39 points per game, which is unsustainable if we're keeping it 100, especially for a playoff level offense that, needs him during crunch time. A system where Cat facilitates the offense through elbow actions, inverted pick and rolls, high post orchestrations that allow Brunson to, 1, move the ball more frequently, where he's extremely effective, 2, pick his spots more wisely, and 3, save his legs for the final 5 minutes, where he can go nuclear. I think that type of Cat-focused setup could also allow him to be the focal point in the first 3 quarters, where he can draw double teams, where he could force rotations, where Brunson gets a cleaner floor to operate in the clutch. I think Cat becomes, if Brunson becomes the closer like Kyrie was for LeBron, or how Jamal Murray works in tandem with Jokic, we could dominate the East like that. Brunson is elite in the mid-range, but having Cat at the center opens up pick and pop combinations, ghost screens, flare actions. This gives the offense multiple dimensions and prevents defenses from simply loading up on Brunson, trying to eliminate him from the game. So what I'm asking you to do, Knicks fans, try to envision this. Try to think about a few core principles under the Knicks offense when we have a new coach. If it's Jason Kidd, or if it's Taylor Jenkins, or Mike Brown, oh God, not Mike Brown. But whoever it is, if they choose to center the offense around Cat, with Towns at the top of the arc, surrounded by shooters and cutters, you'll have Brunson, you'll have McCall, you'll have OG, you'll have Josh Hart. The Knicks can run a 5-out offense similar to the Warriors or the Kings. Think about that for a moment. Towns will become the trigger man. OG and Hart dive from the corners. Bridges works as the off-ball movement shooter. Brunson curls around screens to receive the ball at the nail for one-to-one ISO opportunities and the dribble handoff. Think about Miami and how they use Bam Adebayo. They use him at the elbow. Towns could function there similarly. He holds the ball at the high post. Brunson Brunson sprints into the dribble handoff. If the defender trails, it's a pull-up 3. If the defender cheats, Brunson slips for a layup or passes to a corner shooter. It's just exciting to see how we could open up all of the weapons we have on a team. Towns excels at short rolling passing. If doubled on a pick and roll, he can immediately flip a pass to a cutting Hart or Bridges. Mitchell Robinson, if we keep him, could also work in high-low sets with Karl-Anthony Towns. Almost like they used to do in '99 with Tim Duncan and David Robinson. The piece that's exciting now that we're looking to see who we're going to hire, whether or not they bring these ideas to the table. This is a modern wrinkle that's popularized by Golden State. If we let Brunson set screens for Towns, a guard screening for a center, it leads to mismatches and confusion. Imagine Brunson pops out or Towns gets the switch he wants on a smaller defender. Bro, we could play with it. What other centers in the East, can stop us if that's the case? The Achilles heel of a Cat center type of system would obviously be his defense, though. All right. He still struggles with a couple of things. He still struggles with the drop coverage, rim protection. He struggles with staying out of foul trouble. He struggles with. We know those things, and that's the only downside to my argument. But this is where the Knicks roster helps with OG Anunoby, McCall Bridges, Josh Hart. We have elite perimeter defenders who can fight over screens, who can switch, who can rotate. If the system commits to aggressive hedge and cover or zone principles to hide Cat's shortcomings, then we can survive or even thrive on defense, if that's the way we want to approach it. This is also why we kept Mitchell Robinson. Or if we add another mobile backup center, like what's the dude that was on our team, but he's backup for Boston. Defensively, Cat, if he struggles, he's handling most of the scoring load most of the game. If we have that as backup, we could cover for him. And that's why I see like comparisons with a Jokic and a Murray over in Denver. The most useful comp for what the Knicks could become would be the Denver Nuggets. If you have Jokic, Cat could be a broke version of that. A big who stretches the floor, passes the ball well, scores in multiple ways. Brunson would be Murray, combo type of guard, rises in the playoffs, takes over late. We would have Aaron Gordon, the equivalent would be Anunoby or Hart, a defensive wing who cuts and guards multiple positions. We have Bridges, who's like MPJ, smooth, thrive off the ball. Denver's system makes Jokic a critical, important piece so that Murray could slide in and close. We got the exact blueprint. If we use Cat as the machine and Brunson as the assassin, I think it's an opportunity there. And I hope one of the coaches brings that to the table, that type of mentality. Because then you're looking like a Paul Gasol or Kobe Bryant, where Gasol ran triangle actions from the high post. Kobe sliced and diced in the clutch. I'm not calling either of them Kobe. But the heavy lifting for 3 quarters was Powell. Kobe finished the job. Or if you think back to the Kings with Webber and Bibby, it's my day now. Webber was the maestro at the elbow, initiating the offense for the cutters and the shooters. Bibby wasn't the primary initiator until it mattered. The Knicks can emulate this, especially with Mikal Bridges in the Patience Stojakovic role. Where my 90s babies at? Y'all roll with me? Or are we talking about Tim Duncan and Tony Parker? Even at the end of Duncan's career, San Antonio used him as a decoy and a screener, letting Parker cook in the fourth. Towns doesn't have Duncan's defense, but he could mirror his role offensively. So I know y'all like, look, Cat is good, but I think you're bigging him up too much. There's a lot of criticisms. No discussion of building around Karl Anthony Towns is complete if we don't tackle the elephant in the room, and that's his reputation. So I already know what y'all gonna say. All of y'all gonna argue he's too emotional in big games. He doesn't bring intensity consistently. He lacks defensive anchor traits. But these are narratives, not facts. Under Tibbs in Minnesota, he made the playoffs. Under Finch, he coexisted with Rudy Gobert and made the Western Conference Finals. Here with us once again with Tibbs, Eastern Conference Finals. He's not a franchise savior, but in a defined role with a structured system, he can prove once again that he's elite. In New York, he wouldn't have to be the guy. Brunson, we know, is the leader. OG and Hart are the glue. Bridges is the quiet killer. Cat just hoops. That could be he just would hoop. And we've already seen how he is in New York. He's comfortable. Being from New Jersey, the man is comfortable. All right, we thought it would be questions with him coming over. We thought maybe he might wilt under the spotlight. Man, I hope he don't come in with that soft stuff. I hope he don't come in wondering who's going to be the unquestioned leader of this team. Will it work with Tibbs? He answered all of that. He was surrounded this season by pros that played together, Villanova pros. So he came in and he hooped, and he also played like he had a chip on his shoulder. And that showed that it's an ingredient for the perfect ecosystem for us to let Towns shine a little bit more, play make, be an offensively dominant big man without the burden of being the face of the franchise. That opportunity's right there for the taking. Right there. And if you think I'm playing, how close did we get? We made the Eastern Conference Finals. So you may say, why make changes then? Sheer? We got the blueprint for success. In the playoff, scoring gets harder. Shot creators are needed in waves. Why you trying to mess things up? I just think if Towns handles the offense for 3 quarters, whether it's scoring, passing, spreading the floor, if he stays out of foul trouble, obviously, let Brunson dominate when the game slow and tightens. Say what you will, you gotta look at this kid Halliburton, man. This past playoffs, Brunson clearly looked a little bit gassed late in the fourth. Imagine if he had Towns to alleviate that pressure. A little bit more. Draw, help defense, provide that spacing a little bit more. I think that's how you win a title. Delegate the burden and reserve the magic. So I'm curious to see who the New York Knicks move forward with at coach. Because with the right coach, Karl-Anthony Towns can absolutely become a centerpiece type of a modern Knicks offensive system. With his elite shooting, passing, positional versatility, all of those are ideal for the NBA. All of those are ideal for us to dominate. And I think such a system gives Jalen Brunson the breathing room he needs to be the fourth quarter's killer once again. Already clutch player of the year. We want to see that in the playoffs though. It's not a plea to hand the franchise over the cat so we could take 19 steps backwards. It's just a call for a balance of the burden to let the most skilled big man in franchise history unlock a style of play that we haven't seen in decades. Maybe to evolve past isolation heavy sets, to build a 2-star system like Jokic Murray or Kobe Powell, and to finally modernize. We didn't get rid of Tibbs because he was bad. We just wanted to change the direction. Let Jalen become the assassin and Cat be the engine. And the Knicks, we might get over that hump and just get that parade in the Canyon of Heroes. So what say you? Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. But also remember this, whether it's out there in the real world, or here in these YouTube streets, here in Knicks Deli,
everybody eats.
I'm your boy Sheed, and I'm out. Peace.